Hey y'all, it's me Bree. I'm back with another freestyle. But first, I want to wish all my ladies a happy Valentine's Day, and to all my followers too, happy Valentine's Day, but especially the ladies, okay? And since it's Valentine's Day, you know I had to bring a Valentine's Day set. I think this one is my favorite one that I did this season, this year period, just because, pink is my favorite color, and this set was given everything, pink, everything. And I really went off on this set because this client usually gets like medium, no longer than long. But today she was like, give me extra long. And I was like, okay, bet. So I gave her a few encapsulated fingers with some glitter and some hearts. And I did a little crystal pink on the other ones because I'm going to do some French tips. So I decided to do some V-cut French tips on this one. So I'm doing the pink on pink V-cut French on this one. So cute. Look at them lines, straight as hell. And I did white on the encapsulated one so it can bring out the encapsulated little jewels I got in that finger. And then, of course, I had to give her a full bling, but I did pink instead of the regular holographic ones because, of course, Valentine's Day pink, come on. And yeah, it's probably going to fast forward to the finished finger in a few. And I'm just drawing some lips on this one. I'm going to do silver and another hot pink lips. It's honestly giving me a little burn book vibes from like Mean Girls. I wish I would have did a burn book set for Valentine's Day, but I didn't. But I actually did my own nails and I vlogged it, so I will be posting that soon. But this set really turned out really cute, of course. I can never leave my French tips plain. It always have to have some texture to it. But I hope everybody enjoyed their Valentine's Day. And of course, if you haven't followed my Instagram, go follow my Instagram. Thank you. Bye.
This is why you might not want to move in with your best friend. After graduating high school, my bestie of 9 years and I decided to move in together. We both loved the same things, hung out nearly every day, and at the time I couldn't think of any reason why it wouldn't work out. When we first moved in, I had just gotten out of an abusive relationship that ended in assault. I sat her down and set some boundaries while explaining my reasons for them. The most important was no sleepovers. I didn't care if she slept with her boyfriend, but I didn't want him staying over, and if it was needed after a night of drinking or something, then she'd give me warnings so I'd be able to make preparations for myself. At first, things were fine, but shortly after she had a messy breakup with her boyfriend, it was a downward spiral. She brought over a different guy every night. I hit my breaking point when she brought over 7 guys in one day and then disappeared for 3 days with one of them while ignoring my texts and phone calls. She kept blowing me off, so I disconnected the Netflix and all other streaming services that I provided. This is when she finally talked to me. I let her know that I didn't feel safe in my own apartment and that it either needed to end or I'd be moving out. I didn't like sleeping with my door locked and afraid to use the restroom at night. She agreed, but little did I know it was about to get 100 times worse when she got a new boyfriend who had it out for me.
Part 2 to my homophobic family kicking me out of the house and replacing me with my best friend. So I cannot believe the audacity of my family literally replacing me with Katie. Not only was she just over there for movie night, but they had actually moved her into my room, the room that I was raised in. I felt so much fury that I had to walk around the neighborhood for a while just to calm down. But eventually I just started to walk back to the house that I was staying at. Once I got in, Katie messaged me. She apologized for being such a bad friend, but then she said she had a secret. And she came out to me as bisexual and begged me not to tell my family. She felt like my family was her own and she didn't want to get kicked out. I was so frustrated that she was keeping the same secret that I had in my house, but she's getting to actually stay at my house. It has been a full year now and she is still with them to this day. But thankfully I'm now living with my boyfriend and his family has accepted me as bisexual. I am honestly so much happier and better off. If you guys have a story that you'd like to share, follow me and DM me on Instagram.
Hey y'all, it's me Bree. Story time on how I had to put one of my clients out. Well, not put out, but I told her to leave. She knew what it was. So it all started when she came. I had let her in, I greeted her, I was like, hey, how are you? And she didn't say nothing back. First red flag. But I honestly brushed it off because that really doesn't faze me. So, I take her to my nail station, I tell her to go wash her hands, she go wash her hands, and she comes sit. So before I start any of my clients, I always confirm what you book. So she had booked some crocodile Frenchies. So I was like, yeah, so you booked for crocodile Frenchies? And she was like, that's what the thing says, right? I was like, yeah, that's what it says, but I'm just making sure that you know what you booked. Like, dang, girl. And she was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get started. So when I get started, I ask for her hand and stuff, and she realized throws her hand on top of the little nail rest thing. I'm like, okay. I stopped and I was like, is there a problem? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, well, it seems like it is. Because let me know now if there's a problem, so we can fix it before this appointment, so this appointment can go smoothly, or you're going to have to leave, sis. And I'm very patient. I'm very nice, and it takes a lot for someone to really tick me off. So I finished laying her acrylic, and I'm about to file and stuff. And while I'm filing, it's like she was like purposely moving her hand where I didn't want it. I would move it, and she would literally move it right back. So I was drawing her Frenchies, and I finished one hand. I was like, okay, you go ahead, put it in the lamp. And she took her hand back, and she looked at them, inspected them. Like, it was literally like she was looking for something to be wrong, which was fine. I just continued with the set. I'm continuously asking her to hold her hand a certain way and stop, like, moving it every time I'm moving it. She was like, that's uncomfortable. I was like, okay, if they don't come out straight, that's on you, because I'm asking you to, straighten your hands up, and you giving me a hard time. So I just ended up finishing them. I realized she had added some charms and stuff. So I'm showing her the charms, and she's like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, like, you don't see nothing that you want? She was like, no, those look cheap. I was like, oh, okay, well, you don't have to get them. And I said, actually, your set is finished, If you don't want the charms, you can pay and you can leave, because I'm not liking your vibe or your attitude. Not sure what's wrong, but you can just pay me my money and you can leave. I ain't even put no cuticle oil on her. I was like, let's go. That's it.
I felt uneasy because if I give her the money, then there's no guarantee she'll pay it back before it's time to pay for my tuition. I'm taking a gap year, but I know my sister can't pay that much back, and I felt like it would be risking my future. When I refused to help, she had a meltdown at my aunt's house, calling me heartless and cruel with no empathy. She said that her husband's health should be priority and I needed to help her because education is nothing compared to someone's health. She then asked if I'd be happy to see her as a widow and my nephew with no father. My aunt suggested others pay, but most of them cut my sister and her husband off. I argued that her husband's poor health isn't my fault after she kept blaming me and guilt-tripping me. She kept crying, and although my aunt decided to stay out of it, she said I should be prepared for permanent damage in my relationship with my sister if I don't help her now. She's been sending texts and pictures of her family telling me that this is what I'm saying no to, a happy, healthy family with a healthy husband and father. I broke down and I feel like I'm being a terrible aunt and sister. However, when I asked my friend for advice, he said that let them sell their cars and luxurious stuff they bought to afford the surgery, and warned me that if I give her the money now, I'll never get it back and may not be able to go to medical school. Am I wrong for refusing to pay for my brother-in-law's surgery?
If anyone's wanting to know how to get revenge on someone who spread rumors about you, listen to this story and it may come in handy. So I had a friend that we can call Miranda who was obsessed with me. I was genuinely friends with her, but she would never give me a break. I could not get a breather from her at any point in time. Everywhere I went, she went. And this girl would actually get so upset with me anytime I would go over to another friend's house. I knew she was really insecure and just trying to get attention, so I tried to be patient with her. However, one day I just could not take it anymore. I got into a massive fight with her over how overprotective she is. I literally said, you are a stage 5 clinger. And in response, this girl ended up joining my basketball and softball team, which I've been on for forever. She told her mom that I was bullying her, which was a complete lie, but then her mom went to the coaches. She got me kicked off the team and then continued to spread rumors about me. I ended up losing my best friends and even my boyfriend over the rumors that she spread about me. So that's when I decided to get revenge. So I decided that I was going to send her over an apology gift with makeup in it, which was a mix of drugstore items and poison.
This lady booked an appointment with me, and I immediately noticed that her nails are so red. She went to expensive nail salon to get her nails done, and she mentioned that when they were filing off the previous product, it was hurting a lot. Nail services should not be painful. If you feel heat or pain, something is wrong, and please tell your nail technician about it ASAP.
My boyfriend's crazy ex is sitting on the couch and I'm terrified. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. She had just finished sending me a bunch of DMs on Instagram totally abusing me. But my boyfriend didn't know this. I walk into the apartment and they're both sitting on the couch. She turns around and asks him, is that her? My boyfriend looks at me with a serious face and says, yes, that's her. Then she shows me DMs on Instagram that I had supposedly sent to some guy, and that she passed herself off as this guy to see if I would fall. And the messages were so dirty and disgusting. I tell my boyfriend that's not me and that I would never do that to him. He just stares at me and doesn't say anything. That's when I try to show him all of the DMs that she had just sent me. But I noticed they were all gone. She actually unsent every single DM. Now I had no proof and it was just her word against mine. That's when I accused her of planting the cameras in our bedroom. She actually smiled at me and turned around and told my boyfriend she would never do that. Then she
Guys, while I was filming these nails, an unknown number started phoning me and something within me said, just answer. So I answered and this guy's like, hi, this is Tony from TK Maxx. And I was like, TK Maxx? Why would TK Maxx be phoning me? Like, what? This must be a scam. Like, I'm going to bam you up for trying to scam me. And then this guy was like, no, actually, sorry, we know you're a regular online customer and we're looking to see how we can improve our service because you've not placed an order in a while. And I was like, oh, right, okay, sorry about that. I thought you were trying to scam me. So I gave him a suggestion and he said, that is an amazing suggestion. Like, that is so good. I'm going to send you a gift voucher. And I was like, okay. No, they've sent me a £50 gift voucher to spend online or in store. I'm so buzzing with that.
Story time! Make sure to grab a snack, sit back, and relax because this one is a crazy story. So I had a best friend in 7th grade until about my junior year in high school, and me and her did just about everything together, and we were always hanging out. We'll go ahead and call her Chloe. So Chloe always had the nicest things. She had really pretty clothes. She had the newest cell phones all the time, and overall she was just very spoiled, right? And one of the craziest things that was given to her was a car at 14 years old. Yes, she was very young with a brand new car, but her stepdad taught her how to drive. So now the more I would hang out with Chloe, the more I began to realize that she treated her stepdad really bad. She would call him stupid in front of everybody. It didn't matter who was there. And I also noticed that she would yell at him really bad. It was almost to the point where she was screaming. But besides all of that, me and Chloe did end up being really close friends. And because we were really close friends, we would tell each other all of our secrets. And I remember this one time when we were hanging out, she ended up telling me one of her secrets. Just a trigger warning because it's kind of bad. Her biggest secret was that she would do the you-know-what with her stepdad in order to
Storytime had the most dirtiest college roommate ever. By the way, we're calling her Jessie. So I moved in before Jessie and I get settled and decorate. The next day, she comes and throws her bag on the bed, then leaves. I thought it was weird because she didn't even say anything to me. Couple hours later, she comes back and I'm like, hello? And she's like, my bad, and comes give me a hug. She smelled very bad. She starts unpacking all of her clothes and blankets, but they smelled like mildew. Anyways, a week later, there's this party going on for freshmen, and she goes, but I stay in because I had a migraine. I told her that when she comes back, can she keep the light off? Now it's 2 a.m., and she comes back in very loud, uses the bathroom, then goes to sleep. And now I'm up, so I got up to use the bathroom too. When I sit down on the toilet, I feel something very squishy. It was dark because, like I said, I had a migraine. I get up, turn the light on, and I was sitting in her shit.